Have you ever wondered how the Israel-Palestine conflict, one of the longest-standing geopolitical disputes in history, came to be? This isn't a simple tale of two nations at odds. It's a complex tapestry woven with threads of religion, identity, land, and power. A saga marked by a series of key events that have led to the current state of affairs. The conflict has seen its fair share of heroes and villains, triumphs and tragedies, hopes and despairs. So, how did we get here? What are the root causes of this seemingly intractable dispute? Join us as we delve into the key events that have shaped this intricate conflict. The roots of the conflict stretch back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, with the rise of national movements among the Jews and among the Arabs, both geared towards attaining sovereignty for their people in the Middle East. Our journey through history begins with the Balfour Declaration of 1917. This was a public statement issued by the British government during World War I, announcing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Fast forward to 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan, dividing Palestine into an Arab state, a Jewish state, and the special international regime for the city of Jerusalem. However, the plan was rejected by the Arab League and by the Palestinian leadership. The year 1948 saw the Arab-Israeli War, also known as the War of Independence or Nakba, depending on which side of the narrative you're on. This war resulted in an Israeli victory and a significant shift in the region's demographics. In June of 1967, the Six-Day War broke out. Israel launched a preemptive strike against Egypt, and by the end of the conflict, Israel had seized the Gaza Strip, the Sinai Peninsula, the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights. Fast forward to October 1973, the Yom Kippur War took place. This was a surprise Arab attack on Israel on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Judaism. The war ended with a ceasefire, but not before significant losses on both sides. The Oslo Accords of 1993 and 95 marked a hopeful moment, with both sides recognizing each other's rights to self-determination. However, the peace was short-lived. The year 2000 saw the eruption of the Second Intifada, a period of intensified Israeli-Palestinian violence. And finally, we arrive at the recent escalations in 2021, which have once again brought the conflict into the global spotlight. These events have not only shaped the conflict but have also left a lasting impact on the people living in the region. At the heart of the Israel-Palestine conflict lies the issue of land. This tiny strip of territory in the Middle East, no larger than the state of Vermont, has been the epicenter of a decades-long dispute that has consumed the world's attention. The question of land ownership is complex, with both Israelis and Palestinians claiming ancestral and historical ties to the same ground. The city of Jerusalem, revered by Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike, is perhaps the most symbolic representation of this clash. For Jews, it's the city of their ancient temples. For Christians, it's where Jesus Christ was crucified. For Muslims, it's the site from where they believe Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. Tensions escalate as both Israel and Palestine assert sovereignty over this city, leading to frequent clashes and unrest. Meanwhile, the establishment of Israeli settlements in the West Bank has been a significant point of contention. These settlements, considered illegal by many in the international community, have been built on land that Palestinians see as part of their future state. The expansion of these settlements has not only led to the displacement of Palestinians but has also been a hindrance to peace negotiations. Let's not forget the Gaza Strip, another hotbed of conflict. Ruled by the Islamist group Hamas, it's been under a tight Israeli-Egyptian blockade since 2007, leading to a humanitarian crisis. The status of Gaza remains a contentious issue, with Israel maintaining control over its borders, airspace and coastline, while Hamas continues to demand full sovereignty. These disputes over land aren't just about soil and borders, they're about identity, history, and survival. As much as they are about the present, they are echoes of a past that refuses to be forgotten. The land is a symbol, a memory, and a promise. The issue of land remains one of the most contentious points in the Israel-Palestine conflict. But beyond the headlines, the speeches, and the negotiations, it's important to remember that this is a conflict about people. People who, despite the odds, continue to live, hope, and dream of a day when peace will prevail. The international community has played a significant role in the Israel-Palestine conflict. The United Nations, for instance, has been involved since the very beginning, attempting to mediate peace and find a solution that respects the rights and aspirations of both Israelis and Palestinians. However, the path has been fraught with obstacles and setbacks, making the goal of peace elusive. A notable development in recent years has been the International Criminal Court ruling that it has jurisdiction over war crimes committed in the Palestinian territories. This decision, despite objections from Israel, signaled a potential shift in the international community's approach to the conflict. It was a step towards justice for the victims of serious crimes, according to Human Rights Watch. Of course, the response of individual countries to the conflict varies widely. Some align more with Israel, others with Palestine, and still others attempt a more balanced stance. These positions are often influenced by a combination of historical relationships, political alliances, and strategic interests. For instance, the United States, a key player on the global stage, has traditionally been a strong ally of Israel. However, its stance has been met with criticism, especially when it comes to the issue of Israeli settlements in the West Bank. On the other end of the spectrum, many Arab nations have historically supported Palestine, although recent years have seen a thawing of relations between some of these nations and Israel. Challenges persist in the international community's efforts to mediate peace. These include deep-seated historical grievances, differing interpretations of international law, and the complex dynamics of Middle Eastern politics. Yet the pursuit of a just and lasting solution continues. The international response to the Israel-Palestine conflict continues to evolve, reflecting the shifting dynamics of global politics. The Israel-Palestine conflict is a complex and multifaceted issue with a long history. We've taken a journey through the annals of time, shedding light on the key moments that have shaped this region, from King David's conquest around 1,000 years before Christ to the recent ruling by the International Criminal Court. The heart of the matter lies in the land, a sacred ground for Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike, and the center of national aspiration for both Israelis and Palestinians. The conflict over this land has led to numerous skirmishes, wars, and diplomatic tensions. The international response has varied, with some supporting Israel, others Palestine, and many advocating for a two-state solution. The International Criminal Court's recent ruling that it has jurisdiction over the Palestinian territories marked a significant moment, stirring reactions from all corners of the globe. While the path to peace may seem elusive, understanding the history and key issues at stake is the first step towards finding a resolution. Until then, the quest for peace continues.